So this new and selected called Wonder and Wreckage, it's 30 years of my poetry, and I decided that I wanted to do it like a director's cut and reframe a narrative. And the narrative here that runs through this book is about the AIDS crisis. And my uncle, Terry Graves, who died of AIDS, from an AIDS-related illness in the early 90s, from an ex-partner who died later on, and for Derek Jarman, the famed British director who was a muse. So all of that is a thread that runs through this. Because I'm really concerned that as we move further away from the 80s and the early 90s, that the millions of people who died from AIDS are being forgotten and lost and what they sacrificed to get us to where we are today, where AIDS is no longer a death sentence. This is called The Beat of Black Wings, and it begins with an epigraph. They said when you got here, the whole thing started. Who are you? What are you? Where did you come from? I think you're the cause of this. I think you're evil. The hysterical mother in the diner from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Someone must always take the blame, whoring flight attendants or government bureaucrats, for example. But in this case, it happens to be a cool blonde, maybe too icy in mint green, trailed by rumors from across the sea, dancing naked in a fountain, causing a scene, because if there's no culpability, the world will spin off its axis, rotated by millions of flapping wings. It begins in the big city, but that's too obvious. So let's take the action north to Bodega Bay, the tranquility ripe for destruction, the it can't happen here placidness broken only by seagull cries as they wheel and dive over the harbor. And then one attacks, draws blood. Melanie Daniels, the stranger in town, becomes patient zero. Soon the birds are massing outside the door, indiscriminate beaks nibbling at school teachers and children, ruining birthday parties, upsetting casual lunches and commerce. They perch in the most unexpected places, wake up with morning wood, hazy about whether you're with your wife or your boyfriend, and find beady eyes staring back at you, ready to put the peck in pecker. No one is safe, not even farmers, chain-smoking school moms, or overbearing mothers with retinas stronger than any contraception. Handsome men who spend too much time in the city with hoods and ne'er-do-wells come home with soiled underwear and smelling of jazz and liquor are also in mortal danger. Realization sets in far too late, not until the air is filled with a murder of crows. They wait, patient jinxes, until you're lulled into a false sense of security, then attack. In the end, Melanie is drawn to the bedroom, left wide-eyed and ravaged, and the townspeople will say she got what she deserved for bringing the scourge upon them. But the radio crackles with news, the beat of black wings all the way to San Francisco. The unrequited arsonist. It's not the love itself that burns, but the hunt. From coast to coast, tire scorch and gasoline in my wake, or chemtrails for the flyover states. Watch and wonder where I'll come down hard, wheels sparking tarmac, raising alarms. I made up my mind and yours, left nothing for the return trip. It was a yes or no question that set me off. Your hemming and hawing over our future, an accelerant. This is the memory of combustion. This is the mystery of combustion you will solve too late. I'm already in your city, your street, your bed, with my hair of embers on your pillow. My little bookmarks here are doing me absolutely no good. So since we just came off a devastating hurricane called Helene, this is looking back at Katrina. I first went to New Orleans in 1992, escaping from a bad relationship with my partner, Chris, who would later die of AIDS. And then I went back again right after Hurricane Katrina. This is called at Lake Forest Plaza, East New Orleans. The hotel is a skeleton, whitewashed ribs, its name a shadow etched into the wall like nuclear flash. Reed Boulevard is just one ground zero. I-10, a gallery of ruin. My memory is long. I first came here on the run from Chris when he was alive and crazy, unwinding the double helix of us, embarrassed by his public madness. I wanted to sweat him out anonymously, heat cure for lingering malady. I could only afford the outskirts, but I had memorized the map, so Canal, Bouqueray, Carondelet, St. Charles Garden District were second tongue, steeped in Tennessee, Truman, Ignatius, and Julie Marsden in a red dress at the Olympus Ball. This is 1992, Dumplin', 1992, not the Dark Ages. I learned to acclimate, even found charm at the Lake Forest Plaza Mall, its food court a cheap haven when I could find pleasure in nothing, Chris and money burning holes in my pockets, finally going for broke, Maison Blanc, mon amour. On TV, helicopters hovered over the flooded mall, waist-deep black water, tattered roof waving white flags, and although it had been 10 years since I'd set foot there, my hand traced the places where I'd walked to shake Chris off. I should have called him then, when he was alive and not crazy. I know that now, driving past the place where the mall used to stand, swept off the earth as if some angry God's hand descended and cleared a table. Well, I have two more for you. This is called At Prospect Cottage, which is Derek Jarman's home that's on the southern coast of England in a place called Dungeness. At Prospect Cottage. Stone Beach in September, where it's always sweater weather, the gloom glare blinds, sky and sea merge, my feet sink in shingle, ankles turn, the empty lighthouse humming power station rise on the headland, and in the marshes, 3 listening ears, massive man-made acoustic mirrors aimed at the channel, bouncing sound waves from invading aircraft, alien and alienating. Derek saw the beauty in the desolation, the quietest place in England, the opposite of London, where the thrum of infected blood often pounded more loudly in his ears than the traffic. The prospect of writing one last film, one last poem, planting one last flower, the challenge of bloom in the rock. If he could make something grow here, then anything was possible. Maybe another chance, another life, opium poppy for pain, red valerian for insomnia, devil's bit for coughs and fevers. Etched into the cottage wall, along notebook-ruled slats, duns the sun rising, admonishes the interruption of light on lovers entwined in bed. I imagine Derek inside the black and yellow hive as his world turned blue, daydreaming of space, chanting the names of dead lovers he would soon join. 20 years since he succumbed, the same year Uncle Terry shook off flesh gravity. I lean against the weathered boat and remember them both. In my pocket, a smooth pebble and fading bloom, something to take home for worry and press. My souvenirs from the place Derek called Paradise. And this is called Every Time We Say Goodbye. And what you need to know about this is that Annie Lennox covered that Cole Porter song on an album called Red Hot in Blue, which was an AIDS fundraiser. And Derek Jarman was supposed to direct the music video, but was too ill to do so. Every time we say goodbye. The church door slams behind me with a ferocity only God could muster. Now he's got me inside 12th century walls with the dead under my feet and history swirling in the rafters. I am nothing, a speck of dust passing through, a pilgrim visiting the heretic in the cemetery. Derek is out there, his slate black headstone a monolith, no date of birth or death, only the engraved flourish of his own signature. Nothing else is necessary. I saw you before I knew your work, flickering in childhood home movies as on Annie Lennox's face as she lamented you with Cole Porter. You were supposed to direct the music video, but were too ill, so instead you became the star. I was at a party, and it was background music, while Damien begged me for sex, despite his diagnosis, condoms spilling from his pocket like gold coins. Fuck me while I'm still pretty, he begged. And then Annie and that song again, serenading Edward and Gaveston as they part, while Christopher holds my hand in the dark, Uncle Terry and his lover Jeff beside us, already knowing then their fate, tucked into each other, becoming shadows of their former selves, singing quietly, every time we say goodbye, I die a little. Kneeling in old Romney churchyard, 10,000 days in between, I hum the song and trace your name, Derek, make you touchstone and totem to everyone I've lost. Thank you.